Now, tonight in our series marking the anniversary of victory in Europe, we remember the Birmingham Blitz. With its vast number of munitions factories, the city was a target for the Luftwaffe. It was to become the third most bombed city in the country after London and Liverpool. The end of the war brought major rebuilding, and as Lindsay Doyle reports, not all proved to be popular.
77 German air raids over 3 years, bringing Birmingham to the brink of destruction. It was hushed up at the time for the sake of morale.
Birmingham was the country's preeminent manufacturing centre, and as such it was always going to be hit by the Luftwaffe. As a result, Birmingham, along with Liverpool and Merseyside, was the second most heavily bombed area in the country. 2,241 people got killed, thousands were injured, and thousands more had mental injuries as well as physical injuries.
That the Luftwaffe failed to win the Battle of Britain owed much to the workers of the Spitfire factory in Castle Bromwich and the munitions factories for those fighter planes. But there was a price to pay. Much of the city needed rebuilding.
You go to continental Europe and those great cities rebuilt from their own rubble after the war, as though it had almost never happened, 39 to 45. Britain used it as a reason to almost draw a line under the war and completely redevelop. Coventry and Birmingham are the great examples of that.
And change came fast with Herbert Manzoni, Birmingham's city engineer and surveyor. At the end of the First World War, thousands of Brummies were still living in unsanitary back-to-back houses. The intention from the council in the 1930s was to demolish them, but the outbreak of the Second World War prevented this. But post-war redevelopment meant that by the 1960s, the sun had set on Birmingham's back-to-backs. New housing estates sprang up.
It seems each day the skyline is altered. Old buildings fall, new ones rise.
The inner ring road was built, almost 4 miles of new roads and 3 lanes of traffic.
The Bull Ring has been Birmingham's shopping centre for 1,000 years.
The Bull Ring shopping centre was to become a symbol of Birmingham, but there was criticism too. Many of the city's finest buildings were demolished to make way for high-rise and council estates. New architecture in New Street didn't please everyone.
It's probably the best of the Birmingham post-war buildings. You know, a lot of them are not that great, but this one worked really well. It was meant to look like an ocean liner with the cabins.
Many felt the planners had failed to ask the working people how they wanted their post-war city to look. But today, in the heart of the city, where old meets new, the memorial to all those who lost their lives in the Birmingham Blitz. Lindsay Doyle, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
To sport and